Hey. I don't know why I
What's
started
going
like
on,
that.
my guy?
How's it going, man? How's everything going? How's
Buddy,
life?
life is good. It's hectic as fuck, but you know what? Shouldn't be
It is,
complaining. I'm
right?
not complaining, even though I just complained.
No, that's
Uh,
not complaining. I think that's venting, which is necessary.
for
It's not
sure. Hey,
complaining.
that's
There's a
right.
difference.
No, I agree. I like it a lot. Life is good, dude. Just fucking grinding. So I'll start it off right now and let's see how long this lasts. But totally dry, no alcohol, even though
Oh,
that's like a huge part of my personality, I feel like that I'm always
sure.
talking about drinking. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. No, I'm just I'm trying to get dry, so I'm trying to drop some pounds. I figured
Mm.
that would help me because then when you drink, you end up eating like shit, and then it's the next day you feel like shit. So then you have a beer in the morning, and then you eat another crappy meal to feel better.
You know, you bring up a good point right there. People
I
always
usually
talk
do.
about like, hey, people always talk about like um um inhibitions, right? Booze lowers inhibitions. So you're like, I'm gonna go talk to I'm gonna be silly with this group of people. I'm gonna go do something, I
For
don't
sure. Bad
like.
judgment. You make horrible decisions when you're drunk.
Sure, but I'm not even talking about like bad decisions. I'm talking about just silly ones. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna get up on this table and dance or whatever.
Yeah.
When normally
Oh,
you're like,
buddy.
I don't know about that, right?
Right.
One thing nobody really brings up is food. Is
Oh my
something
God.
I mean, I guess they do with like drunk meals and all that. Like Taco Bell, I guess those are kind of a cliche almost, right? But not the way you just put it, where you're like, it does turn something off where you're like, man, I gotta go have this food.
The hangover meal, because then you end up
Yeah,
you eat anything to feel better. So it's usually greasy food or like a bottle of Sprite or maybe another beer.
yeah.
I'm notorious for that breakfast beer the day after. Um,
Breakfast beer. I've never had that before.
I fucking love a breakfast beer, bro. Bud Light Lime. That's my go-to
Bud
breakfast beer.
Light.
Bud Light Lime, not Bud Light. Bud Light will
Sure.
make me feel sick. If it's just regular light beer, then maybe a Miller Light. And then when I'm really in my heavy alcoholic phase, it's like a strong 5% beer. There's that other drink where it's like half tomato juice and half beer. I forget what it's called, but
Bloody Mary.
beer and tomato
Oh,
juice.
okay.
It's got like a Mexican or a Spanish name.
Oh,
Chelada,
michelada,
michelada,
michelada. Yeah, michelada.
as opposed
Be-
to an enchilada, which is a snack, right?
that is a snack. Yeah,
I wasn't trying to be
that's a
funny.
food.
I'm being genuinely
No,
sincere.
yeah, no, that's it. Oh yeah, I forget you're Canadian,
Brown.
so I mean,
You forget that.
you guys are pretty far from this border here. This is like right here. So we
You're
got
right there. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
You're the aficionado with everything
I had
Latin.
I had a friend who took me all over like East LA trying to get me like the perfect michelada. She's like, "Oh, you got to try this place." I'm like, "I don't drink beer. I don't like. I'm not the person for this mission that you're on." I'm like, "I'll go with you," but she's like, "No. Once you have this," and I had it. She's like, "Isn't this the greatest thing ever?" I'm like, "It's all right. It's
It's
fine, I guess."
it's the worst when you talk to someone who's a connoisseur of anything
Yeah,
because they've already like learned the levels, so now they're experiencing something totally different. It's like tequila with me and friends where I'm like, oh, you try this is aged, this was aged in a whiskey barrel, can you taste this? And they're like, what the
yeah,
fuck are you talking about, bro? It's tequila. Like,
yeah.
just shoot it
There are
back,
people
let's
who
go to
don't
fucking,
quite get that. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or you talk to someone who's like a scotch person or a cigar guy.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, man, this shit kind of hurts my throat. Are we
I've
still
had I've had I got offered like some really expensive wine a couple times where they're like, oh,
wine too?
they're like, did we talk about that? I don't remember if we did or not, but like it was that wine where they had to poke a syringe into it and take it out because they didn't want to open it up or whatever. It was too expensive. And
No,
somebody
I
was
don't think
like,
you. That's pretty serious. That's kind of smart, but
yeah.
that's actually really smart. But how much wine did you get out of it?
Oh, as much as you wanted. They put like a tap into it, but it was like a syringe
Ah,
tap thing. It was all at like a restaurant, fancy restaurant. We
interesting.
had like, what's it called? Like foie gras ice cream almost, or like it was kind of like a foie gras. It was like an ice cream sort of thing. It was really creamy and all that. And
Hmm.
then they're like, "Hey, there's a super expensive wine," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "That's gonna be wasted on me, man. Just give me like a
Straight up, just give me the grape juice.
yeah." I mean, I don't know shit about wines. I don't even have wine or beer. I'm not like either one of those persons. I'm like, hey, whiskey it is.
I'm not
And
too picky, but I think I have like learned what I do like and what I don't like. So I guess I'm kind of getting there. But again, it all takes time. And do you really care? Like some people just don't give a fuck.
I don't give a shit. I'm like, no, I'm good with the hard liquor is good. I don't care about the subtle whatever,
beers,
you know.
the carbonateds.
I don't mind you guys got Mike's Hard Lemonade up there?
Oh yeah.
Or Mike's Hard Maple-Aid. I don't know, Canadians.
You got jokes. Ooh, I wonder if that would be good though. A little maple syrup in it.
You know, it would be. It not in that, but like
iced tea.
Yeah, like iced tea or like maple whiskey or something. They had like that honey whiskey for a while. That was pretty good.
Let's cut this from the cast and develop this product, and then we will revisit this and make a commercial for it. Some maple syrup. Don't they have like sweet tea where there's like a sugary syrup on the table that you can sweeten your tea with it?
Yeah. Maple.
This is American thing. That's a huge American thing because that's not common here at all.
Wait, you mean what do you mean on the table? You're talking about like sugar?
It's like liquid sugar at the table, right? Where you can sweeten.
Sometimes, not always. Usually they just put it in for you.
Right on. I was gonna ask you this. So when it comes to meals, are you very particular with the temperature? Like, do you have to have your food like super, super hot, or does it not matter? Or if like, you have like leftovers in the fridge, you like take a couple of bites out of it before you even heat it up. You just don't give a fuck.
Depends on what it is. It depends on what it is.
I think I just don't care, but now I think it's just from growing up. It's just like I had to do it all myself, and I'm a hungry kid, right? Like I just wanted to get it in my system. I think you muted again, bro.
Oh, I said when you're hungry, it doesn't matter. You're like,
right?
just
I'm
give me whatever.
Always hungry, dude. I'm telling you, like I'm snacking all the time.
Excuse me, one quick second.
In the meantime, I'll be speaking to the people at home. Guys, please be sure to heat up your food and enjoy it properly. You know, we work so hard to eat. We don't essentially, work just for the sake of paying our bills. We should also enjoy our meals. Hey, Yods, I was just having a conversation with the people at home there that take the time to enjoy your meals. You know what I mean?
Unless you're in a rush, in which case scarf some shit
all
down. Or when you're,
Me and wifey work from home, and we still don't have enough time. Like I couldn't imagine what the fuck.
You guys got a kid.
If that's what I'm saying though. What the fuck would we have done if we were both like commuting an hour there, an hour back, which I was doing prior to.
Sure.
And like there's just never enough time. But it's a perspective change, I guess. So you just gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it. If I can't get it done tonight, I'm not gonna.
I gotta ask you something. You mentioned gym. You mentioned gym, right? Yeah. I didn't mean to throw you off. I just wanted to ask something. Is this common? Do you guys see this? Do you personally have you seen this a lot in gyms in Canada?
Sweaty naked guys in the change room all the fucking time,
no,
bro.
that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
That's my favorite part.
Sure. Have you seen like an Indian dude wearing like office clothes to the gym and just be on the treadmill with like a rumal with a handkerchief?
Never.
Really? I see that shit here. I mean, I used to. Now
He's
not
got
so
the
much.
Silky on?
No, just like a button up and slacks and like shoes, not like sneakers or anything, just shoes.
Whoa.
And
if you're gonna do that, why don't you go for a walk?
His shirt's tucked, dude's shirt is tucked in. They have like a handkerchief that they're like wiping themselves. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. Go for a walk if that's your goal. But then I'll see them like doing like lifting weights and shit. And I'm like,
in their dress clothes?
In their dress clothes.
See,
and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I can't either.
I sweat, bro. I sweat eating spicy food. I sweat within the first 5 minutes I'm there.
Yeah.
So I could never do that. So I could never imagine doing that.
No, it's always weird to me. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're
not
see that
a lot. It's not just one guy that you're making fun of right now.
No. It's if it was one, I'd be like, one weirdo, whatever. I don't. But it's like an ongoing thing. Every now and again, I'll see another one, and I'm like, did you not have like PE class as a kid, even in like the motherland?
I hated gym class at school again because of that sweaty reason, bro. Like I remember I used to have gym like first period. And
that's the worst.
The rest of the day.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I feel gross and it's like salty, like the salt sweat.
Sure.
I don't even know. I guess it's a very particular problem to me, but I'm sure.
No. That's a comment. I'm a big boy, so I just sweat a shitload too.
Same. And then this is in high school. So then what I started doing was I would shower right after gym class in the locker room.
Yeah.
But this was prior to me ever touching my pubes, so it was full bush.
Sure.
I wasn't getting pussy. I still don't get pussy. So there's no point in even doing anything down there, right?
Sure.
It's
I
unclaimed real estate
can't
as far as
relate.
I'm concerned. You know what I mean? It's one of those abandoned buildings, all boarded up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just venting.
The
Right
lights are on, but nobody's home. Is that
now.
would that be apropos? Is
Have you been speaking to my therapist?
that expression?
Yeah. So but then that started being amazing. Then I started getting addicted to that first thing in the morning, exercise, fresh shower, feeling like $1,000,000.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fucking wicked. So that was actually a positive that came out of it all. Going back to the no drinking. So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna do the rest of February, no drinking. I'm also
Hey.
gonna take what comes after February? March and April.
Usually.
Get the fuck out of here, man. I love it. I love that shit. That's the best. Get out of here. Yeah, March. Fuck. March and April as well. So I'm gonna take basically 2.5 months off, which is wicked. I hope it's gonna. I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm pretty sure I can.
Yeah.
And then gradually, I'm gonna keep eliminating other shit from it. So recently, because we're both working from home, we're able to make food at home, which is a lot better. We're not eating out as much.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna quit fast food. And because I'm not drinking, it's gonna be so much easier to quit fast food, right? So those two go hand in hand, kind of. And then eventually, I'm gonna get rid of pop or soda.
Soda.
And it's funny that I called it pop because I do normally call it soda, and everyone roasts me. But in Canada, soda's called pop.
Oh, is it? Oh, I think it's just like a northern thing here too, like in the north here. You know.
Yeah.
States and
not
shit,
Midwest, but like Wisconsin.
Yeah,
or,
Minnesota.
I wonder.
And shit, yeah.
I wonder if Seattle calls it pop too. That's a sociological experiment you and I should do at some point.
Talk to somebody from Seattle? No, I'm good.
You're not going to Seattle?
No, I said talk to somebody from Seattle. No.
Fucking hilarious. And then and the final tier, the final tier is no more porn. And I love busting nuts, bro.
Sure.
Every time I step in the shower, I'm like, you know what time it is. I make eye contact with the drain and shit. Like, you know what's happening. And then I'm gonna try to put all this together and see what happens.
Reminds me of that Chris Rock joke. He's like, when nobody's home, you look at your dick, you're like, scream if you want. Nobody's around to hear you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's good, man. I'm glad you have it planned out. Let's see
what happens.
Sure. I mean, if you fuck up, you fuck
alcohol
up.
Fucks up your. Is it inhibitions? You said.
Yeah.
Inhibitions. I'm hoping this does something to my ambition.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Wordplay.
Not really.
Or inhibition, ambition. There's something there. I mean, It's not good. Don't get me wrong, but it's good. It's there.
You finally complimented me. I should have just accepted it. Fuck.
You should have. It's all right. I don't compliment people. That's a good point. I never do. Cool. I never do. Cool. I've had a couple of women tell me, they're like, I had no idea you were into me. And I was like, oh, I don't, like, you never said anything.
They don't know your love language. They don't know your communication style. You know what I mean? So I know if you're making fun of me, it's actually your way of bonding. That's how you communicate.
I do.
I know. I do the same thing.
Perceptive. Yeah.
100%. But again, it takes that type of, I guess, brain to match with that brain, right? Because like,
sure.
I only roast the people that I fucking love. Like,
same
cousins.
Here. Yeah.
And then one of them was like, "Yo, why are you always so mean to us?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I fucking love you."
That's not being mean.
What do you mean?
You kids don't know mean.
And he was not too young. I think he was probably like grade 9 or grade 10 at the time.
Yeah.
And I had to give him the proper talk. Like, listen to me. If I don't do this to you now, when somebody else does it to you, you're gonna
be unprepared. Yeah.
You're gonna be shook.
Yeah.
But when I do it to you, you can make fun of me back, and we're not gonna get into a fight. But we need to spar. We need to train.
Yeah.
I need you sharp. I need your wit. So if someone says
people sharpen people
shit to you, you say it right back to him.
Say
and
it
then
back.
I guess he took that to heart, because then like a few years later, this is after I got married, I'm talking shit on the basketball court, which I am very well known to do. I talk a lot of shit. And I said something, and he just turns to me. He's like, "Bro, what the fuck are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at home like providing for your family?" I'm like, "Holy shit. Oh my God." I had nothing. I had no comeback. I
bet you were proud of him.
I was so proud of him. And I even brought it up to him later, and he apologized. Like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man." I'm like, "No, don't apologize. I was fucking wicked." No.
Yeah. And I mean, I apologize too. Every now and again, I'm like, I don't know if I went too far. I might have. In my mind, I'm like, but when you're in the moment, you're like, "Oh, fuck it." But I don't know. I still try to keep, you don't want to do anything. I think it's the best jokes are the ones like whoever you're making fun of, they can laugh at it too.
100%.
That's the best one. Yeah.
But it takes a certain type of person to be able to be laughed at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not everyone.
Man, you know those dudes who like never been made never made fun of anybody, never had that camaraderie, and they just cannot
Best.
take that shit.
I
They like
love
kind of
it.
shut down. They're like, "Ugh,"
Yeah.
they start getting mean and shit, like actually
Don't let-
mean. That's why your mom is dead. Like, whoa, okay, let's
Yeah. They take it too
let's
far,
back off.
right?
Yeah,
Oh, let me find out that you're sensitive about that kind of stuff. And I know
yeah.
it's a horrible thing to say, but oh
Oh,
man,
it's fun to tease them.
it's you make it fun
Yeah.
if you can't laugh at
If you
yourself.
can't, yeah. But you know what? If you can't laugh at yourself, then don't participate in the don't make fun of anybody else.
Yeah, no, but even if
Either.
you go quiet and like back away, now we're coming for you. You showed weakness. It's
Yeah.
pack mentality.
Yeah.
Right? Now you became the gazelle.
Well, I guess I always, me and my friends always knew when to back off of somebody if they don't have it. I'm like, it's cool. I don't want to pick on you too much, but if you're gonna try to come for somebody and then get angry about it when somebody else is coming for you, it's like, and it's open season, son.
That's the other thing. You got to be if you're gonna dish it, you definitely need to be able to take it, right? Not everyone can do that either. I'll be honest. I dish it a little bit more than I can take. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
I'm a very sensitive person. I get pissed.
Oh yeah.
I take it personal sometimes, but then I catch myself. I'm like, oh, you know what? You've been talking shit for.
How do you take it personal
years.
though?
I try not to, man. But
no. I mean, in what way? When you do take it personal. So, as an example, for me, it's like if somebody gets a joke on me, right? I'm like, oh, I need to get a joke on them, and it has to be as funny. Like that's my personal thing. It's not like I got to slash their tires or some shit. Like, no, that's criminal. No, don't do that shit. But like in that sense, I'm like, I think that's fair game too. Even if I am taking it personally, I'm like, oh, I got to think. And then I think that sort of sharpens you in another way, as long as you're not too obsessive about it.
That's the thing. I think I harbor the resentment too much, and then when I get the chance again later on, it's unprovoked, and everyone else is like, "What the fuck just happened?" Like, it doesn't happen all the time, but I have caught myself. And I think it was in my younger, more insecure years, So now I'm kind of learning about that, a little more introspection.
It's like that George Costanza thing. Oh yeah, well, I had sex with your wife.
Like... Exactly. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Driving home, just fuming about it. Even though I'm the one who probably sparked the whole like roasting. I don't know, man. But I've caught myself that a couple of times. The other thing I was gonna say is like we don't know the line until you cross it.
Yeah.
And the thing about the line is it wavers. It's like because it depends on how the person's gonna receive it, and that person might be having a bad day.
They might be having a bad
particular day. They take it harsh. You know what I mean? It's the same person you've been cracking jokes with for years.
Yeah.
That one day, something's off. Boss shit on him at work.
Yeah. Mercury's in retrograde, or what the fuck that means.
And then all of a sudden you mention their finances. They're already insecure about that shit. And now it's like, oh, you know what I mean?
And then they take it the wrong way. Yeah. Like, yeah. And then I think it's fair to apologize at that point. Like, my bad, whatever. But
yeah, it's a numbers game. We're not gonna hit them all, but as long as we're at about 50%, I think I'm okay with that.
Sure. So what brought the change along? Why the booze and the absence of it? And the other stuff.
Okay, I just noticed so I lost a lot of weight. I was so proud of myself, but then I noticed myself getting comfortable again.
Sure.
And
yeah.
The gut coming out. I hop out of the shower, not feeling. There's a point when I was hopping out of the shower, and you do that little walk in front of the mirror, like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, you stare in the mirror like a couple seconds longer than usual. You're like, hey.
You do a little hip thrust, and the dick flips up.
Yeah.
Hello.
Sure.
What?
Other times you look in the mirror, you're like, wait, who is that? Oh God. Oh God. Yeah.
So then I hopped out of the shower one day, and I think it was a night of drinking. It was just like everything else is looking decent, but the gut was just bloated, and I felt like shit. I'm just looking in the mirror. I was like, man, what the fuck am I doing? I'm putting all this work in at the gym, but then I'm like killing it with the booze.
Yeah.
And I'm ruining my weekends because I'm not really enjoying like the family time.
Sure.
Which is so crucial.
Absolutely.
So then I started thinking like, man, let's do some pros and cons here. And I just don't want to. And you and I have talked about mental health, and obviously that's not going to help. Alcohol is a depressant. If you already have bouts of depression, it's only going to make it worse. So, there's all that kind of, I guess. And yeah, man, I was just thinking about like my brain too. Like the older I get, the brain isn't going to function the way it did.
No.
And alcohol causes a lot of brain damage. We know this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I just kind of wanted to get control back of my life. I wanted to feel like I was in control. I don't want to live. I never wanted to live that. Dread Monday. Can't wait till it's Friday. Get hammered Friday, Saturday. Then dread Sunday because I'm thinking about Monday. And I don't want to get stuck in that life. And I feel like too many of us do, where we kind of settle, and then we use alcohol as a coping mechanism to deal with the shittiness of the life, right?
Sure.
And I'm sure a lot of people did that during the pandemic. And that was the other thing where during the pandemic, I was drinking a lot more than I liked,
Yeah.
just because there was nothing else to do. So then it all just kind of, I feel like I came full circle with this whole thing, and I'm
Mm.
coming out of it a little healthier at the end of this pandemic. You know what I mean?
Well, that's great, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, man.
I'm rooting
And I'm
for
gonna
you.
be a role model, and I just see my little man's like every time I'm holding a beer, he's looking at me, looking at the bottle,
Mm.
and then I just kind of think like, is this the type of image that I want to show him? I'll have the occasional drink, but I also want to show
Yeah.
him like, I guess that control, right? Like,
Yeah.
you could have one or two and then call it a night, right?
Absolutely. But yeah, you were talking about being like leaving your kid with better images than of his childhood. Like,
Well, that's the other thing too,
more
right? Like,
positive shit.
I'm sure you and I, well, yeah, like not to get too into our personal lives, but considering our upbringing and what we went through, I don't think we want to pass that on to the kids. So I kind of
Yeah.
want to try to kill some of that generational shit.
Generational curses or whatever the fuck it's called. Or
Generational
generational trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
Whatever
that. That shit
is.
ends with
Yeah.
me, bro.
Yeah.
Or at least the shit that came from before. Who knows what I'm gonna pass on unknowingly?
Yeah. But I
at
mean, the
least
job isn't to be like, 100% or whatever. It's like, is doing the best you can. Like, hey, leaving them better than you found them. Then,
Straight up.
whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm not trying to put too much pressure on myself where I'm like trying to be the perfect dad.
Sure.
But I still want to give it my best effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's commendable.
You cut out again?
Yeah. Just for a
Damn,
second.
fuck. I'm right next to the
The router.
yeah, man. It's crazy. But we got so many devices in this house on internet. Like the whole house, the whole world runs on the internet. Let's be honest here, right?
Dude, it's crazy.
Right?
It's crazy how dependent we are on the internet. And then during the pandemic, like at the height of it, when everybody was just home watching shit, doing shit, or working, whatever it was just like speeds would go so slow during like rush hour times,
100%.
Yeah, that was kind of weird to see too. And then
Did you watch the Tiger King? Were you one of those people that was on that wave?
I did not. I had
Never watched a single episode.
Never watched it. I know of it, but I never watched it because I don't like participating in things where there's hype.
Yeah,
Something about that. I'm like, I'm not that person. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
I fuck with that. I'm the same way. I haven't watched Squid Games yet.
I didn't either. I don't care.
I like it, bro. Marching to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll watch it. If it's good enough, I'll find out about it. But I'm like, I can kind of see what I kind of know what it is already. I mean, you pick up on shit, you're like somebody's talking or whatever. Like, all right, I got it. I got the gist of it. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah. And we pick up on the what's the word? Like the not social cues, but like references, I guess. Like
red
light, green light. We probably saw enough memes about it where we're like, okay, I get the gist of that.
Yeah.
That was me with Star Wars for the longest. I had never seen it when I was younger, but I still knew the references. So like when I was watching That 70s Show and they were making all these Star Wars references, I could understand. Like I still knew the story of Luke Skywalker.
Sure.
Luke, I am your father, this and that. Like I knew certain things. Princess Leia's his sister. Chewbacca with the sound Chewbacca makes and everything, right?
Sure.
But then it wasn't until much later that I went back and really watched every movie. Man, this is amazing, right?
Yeah. It's something magical.
It wasn't me consciously trying to not be a part of like the hype.
Sure.
Like, I just didn't have access to it, right?
Oh, okay. That's totally fair. Yeah.
But I know what you mean, where you can kind of like pick up on social cues and kind of like what's the word I'm saying? Not social cues, but it's something else where it's like quotables, I guess.
Just references and shit, I guess. Yeah, memes. Like I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah.
What else? I'm just now watching Peaky Blinders. You and I have talked about Peaky Blinders.
Oh, we did talk about that, right?
We got to do that. It's a good show. You do the thing with Frasier. Every now and again, we should do like either watch a specific episode.
Oh, that'd be good.
And talk about it, but not. We'll.
I haven't done that Frasier shit in a while either, man. I gotta do something else with my friend who we used to do that with, but
you just cut it off. Not doing it anymore.
Not that one. We just couldn't get our schedules to sync a little bit or whatever. But we do other shit sometimes. It is,
and it's weird too. You gotta like schedule like meetups with your friends. It's tough, man.
You do, right? Adulting is fucking weird.
It's life, dude.
Star Wars was a big part of my childhood. I came here. Huge part. Like I came here from India when I was 6. I think 6.
Okay.
Wait, 90. It doesn't matter. 7. And I watched the first Star Wars film when I was living in Chicago, and I absolutely loved it. I was like, holy shit, this like blew me away. And then I came to LA and I didn't know the other ones were out. I thought they were like brand new movies. That's how, because you've seen Indian movies. They were like there were no special effects, and if there were,
Right.
they were like dog shit.
For sure.
Um,
So can I just ask you a quick question? So you
Yeah.
might continue on with Star Wars, but then this will be a Star Wars related question.
sure.
So don't change topics, but continue.
Okay. Yeah. So I came here to LA, and my friend had all three movies when they were in theaters because they had been like re-released or whatever. And I used to borrow his trilogy and just watch it over and over and over again. Like I'd borrow that shit from him every couple days,
I love it.
and him or his like sister, they would just like lend that shit to me, and I was obsessed with those films. And
It's always dope to have the hookup. There's always
Yeah.
that one friend who's just the hookup,
yeah,
whatever it is, right? Like you can borrow something from it, and they're cool like that.
yeah, they were really cool. And
Shout
then it
outs
was
to
my
the hookups.
birthday. Yeah, seriously. And then it was my birthday. My mom bought it for me, the trilogy, the special edition one on cassette, which I still have here.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't know if I showed you my little Star Wars display.
No,
I have,
man.
like, I'll show it to you. I'll send a picture of it. It's a
Fucking
case with
You
just
got a
all
full
kinds
like
of,
memorabilia setup.
yeah, with a bunch of
Oh,
Star Wars
shit.
shit. And
No wonder that very vulgar statement when I was talking about Star
oh
Wars.
yeah,
like,
no,
you
I take this
didn't
shit very serious.
finish.
Like, yeah, no,
Are
no,
you
I'm a fucking
true
nerd.
to the first three video movies kind of guy, or are you cool with the whole thing?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Oh,
I
I'm
love
excited.
I love the first three
Ooh,
films, of
excited
course.
fingers.
I can't not. Like those are again big part of my childhood. The prequels were right. First of all, they were like no more Star Wars ever, and then they're like, oh wait, more Star Wars. So, and I was 11 by the time, I think, when the first one came, when the prequels
Episode
came
one?
out. Episode 1 came out. That's the first movie I saw in America in theaters.
Oh wow.
So that,
Hold up. Before episode 1 came out, they said no more Star Wars ever.
yeah, I mean, from like the last, so episode, the Return of the Jedi was like 83 or something like that. So from then to like 99, there were no Star Wars.
Right.
There was just there were books, and books kind of were the reason it brought it back, because like books were like #1 bestsellers and shit on New York
Shit.
Times list. Yeah, by Timothy Zahn is a prolific Star Wars writer, and so the prequels were kind of also part of my childhood, and I was just happy to have more Star Wars.
Fuck
I
yeah.
didn't realize how dog shit they were until much later, but I have emotional attachment to them.
I don't think they were horrible. They were different.
They're
It was
pretty
a
bad.
different era. It was a different, I guess you could say, vantage point on the story.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say all three were that terrible.
No,
Like,
no, no,
episode
not
one
all
was pretty
three.
fucking dope.
Episode 1 was good. Episode
Darth
2
Maul
was
was
just
a
like,
fucking badass, bro.
Maul
Like,
was, yeah.
he's
Yeah.
so sick.
Yeah, he definitely was. Episode
Right.
2 was all right, and then 3 was fucking amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was
Jar
saying,
Jar,
you
I didn't
gotta see
mind Jar
coming
Jar.
when
I
it's,
didn't.
episode 4, when they started with episode 4,
Oh,
you got to know that there's something happening here, right? Didn't anybody ask questions like, how's it episode 4? I haven't seen 1, 2, or 3. I think you muted again, bro. Still muted.
am I still fucking
I got
muted?
you, I got
Christ,
you.
giant
You got that
thumbs,
finicky USB?
ladies.
I missed that.
I said I have giant thumb, ladies.
Ladies. I love that shit. Goofs. We are fucking goofs. I love it.
Episodes.
Ladies.
I think there was just building mystique around it. Just that, like, yeah, it built up mystique around it, calling it episode 4 or 5, whatever.
Right.
I
So
was
Kanye West. You know, Kanye had his first 3 albums planned out. He already knew.
we're gonna talk about Kanye in a second. We're gonna
beauty.
go. Did you watch the new documentary?
I did not.
Oh shit. Okay, that's okay.
We can still talk about it.
Let me finish the Star Wars thing. So
yes. Episode 1, episode 2.
my
You had the
biggest
trilogy.
what
You saw that
disappointed
episode
me
1,
then,
first movie you ever saw in the States.
what disappointed me when those movies came out, 1, 2, and 3, was that I was like, yo, this is a perfect time to do 7, 8, 9, because the actors were still like relatively young. They were older, but I'm like, this is the perfect time to do that and do it with some the actors and like make it a good story. But they didn't. And then he sold it. He's like, I'm never making another one of these again, blah, blah, blah. And then Disney bought it. And then those 3 movies I fucking hate with a passion.
Right.
I hate 7, 8, 9. 7 was just a rehash of 4.
Right.
8 is all over the place, and it
7 they
kills-
traced.
yeah. And 8, it destroys so much of the what's built up from before, and then 9 was
Right.
just like trying to make it right and fucking.
Right.
I'm like, I hate those movies. I really hate them.
But it's funny because there's a generation where that's their introduction to Star Wars, and even they love it.
They
They
do. There
fucking
are people who do like love it.
because they didn't have the bar.
Yeah.
The bar was set so high with episode 4. Episode 4 is iconic.
I kind of understand where they're like the people who like those movies are coming from. So if you're born after 9/11, you haven't seen America at its best, right? You've seen it. It's like degrading, and they're like, what is this? Oh, there's a housing crisis, 2008 bubble crash. Then there's like,
Interesting. That's a hot take, dude.
right? So they've
It's a
only
very
seen
hot take.
shitty things. So to them, these guys who are like, in my mind, Luke Skywalker's a fucking hero, Han Solo, all that, right?
Right.
They're seeing country like degrading and getting worse, and like, what heroes? What are you talking about? Fuck these old
Damn.
people. And then you see the Star Wars movies, and like all these heroes of our time are all like old and they're doing nothing. They're like, they gave up, and that it resonates with the times in that sense.
That's so sick, man. I'm gonna have to rewatch these movies
Don't watch them
with
for
that.
anybody.
With that in mind, man. That's a deep cut. That's a wicked take, dude.
Thank you.
And that 2001 is like the beginning of the decline. Like that was like,
Yeah.
that's
Patriot Act. I mean, government started spying on everybody, and
right.
unnecessary wars that were fabricated from fucking
Right.
nothing. And then housing crash and market crash, shit's getting more and more expensive. And then like everything's blamed on the millennium. Social media became a huge fucking thing where you really saw the disparity between like the people who have nothing and then the people who have way too much. Not that
Right.
I'm a believer in socialism. I'm capitalist at heart, but
Didn't want to give me any false hope there. I see.
I didn't. No. I want to make that very clear to anybody who listens to this.
And for the
Please
record, I'm
don't
all
get it
for
twisted.
capitalism. I'm all for the human experience, for the human entity to reach its peak and
Yeah.
to push the limits. I'm totally for that. I just don't fuck with exploitation.
No, absolutely
Don't
not.
fuck with unnecessary inequality.
Yeah,
But
that's
it-
crony. So all that shit that happens, that's crony capitalism. That's not
I
capitalism.
thought you said that's corny. I'm like, bro, can I talk to you? I'm in this fucking podcast.
Wait, I'm gonna figure out how to mute you, and then I'll just that's
Basically
crony.
pixelated the entire fucking podcast. eh?
That's crony capitalism where they get bailed out and all that. Like part of capitalism is if you can't cut it, then you die. Unfortunately, that's how that works. Like if you're a company and you can't make it work, then that's on you.
Yeah.
Or it's a horrible circumstantial issue, but sucks to be you, that kind of thing. So every time they get bailed out by banks get bailed out, other companies get bailed out, like that's not capitalism. That's
We're at that
crony
point
capitalism.
now where like the tent is leaking water and we're just trying to prop it up with like sticks
Yeah,
and we're just kind of lifting it up, trying to push the water away, but we're making
Yeah.
more holes.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That we're just causing more problems. Talk about economics. You could talk about day in day out. There's no right answer.
No.
It's a gray topic. You know what I mean? There's no clear cut. We still haven't figured it out. It's just,
no.
It is what it is. Sweden, Norway, and Finland, they say has such a great system, but
Yeah.
the people aren't as happy as you think they are. But that
Well,
could,
they're also very homogenized, so it's like all white people with blonde hair, blue eyes, kind of thing, right? It's like Hitler's dream, and they're like, "What's wrong? We all love each other." It's like, yeah, you're gonna, because you're all, you all kind of grew up together in these small areas together, and like if you're living in the Bind, right? You're living in like a very small town or village or whatever, right? Then you're all gonna know each other,
Mhm.
and if that place just happens to be
Right.
wealthy, then you're like, hey, we still all know each other, so it's all good. But
you're good.
and then you also don't want anybody else coming in from outside. Like,
For sure.
fuck off. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
my take on Star Wars.
So my question to you about Star Wars was, is there one particular character that you resonate with the most, that you see yourself
Darth
as?
Vader.
Are you being serious?
Dead serious. I was
You're
Darth Vader
always-
for Halloween, 5th grade. That was my costume.
That's
I
wild.
absolutely
That was
love Darth
Maul.
Vader. Were you really? That's awesome.
Yeah, man. That's sick.
Yeah.
Really, Darth Vader, because you were pulled into the dark side from a young age?
No, he's the most badass motherfucker in the galaxy.
Okay. I didn't get that from Vader.
Really?
No, it's a lie. He's pretty sick. I just didn't want to get.
He is. No, I mean, he's my favorite character. Whenever we were playing Star Wars, I always wanted to be like Han Solo. I thought he was the coolest because he was
Han
like
Solo's the man.
yes,
Gunslinger.
yeah, gunslinging. He knows he's like he's not gonna win against the Force, but he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna try. He's never one to say like, never one to back down, never one to he goes for it. He's a rebel. He has no like obligations to anything. He has no
Right.
none of that shit. And then he's like, he's an anti-hero because he's like, I don't mind slinging drugs every now and again. They call it spice, but that's just drugs.
Oregano.
Yeah. I mean, they got that from Dune. Dune spice was drugs or whatever. But
Never seen Dune. Never. I have no idea what Dune is.
oh man, check out the new movie. It's fucking amazing.
Okay, cool.
With Timothy Chalamet and the rest.
No.
Dune heavily inspired Star Wars. Dune, like a lot of the ideas from Star Wars came from the book Dune, by Frank Herbert, like the Jedi mind trick, totally a Dune thing.
Interesting.
Desert planet, guy goes there, he's a kid, unwittingly has all these powers and all that. A lot of that shit's borrowed, taken from Dune. I don't know. And then there's a movie called Hidden Fortress, came out, I want to say in the 40s in Japan. Hidden Fortress by acclaimed film director Akira Kurosawa. And if you watch that, you're like, holy shit, it's Star Wars. It's so much like Star Wars. There's these two characters who have nothing to do with the story, but they're along for the ride the entire way. They're like they're soldiers who kind of got kicked out and whatever. So they're like R2D2 and 3PO. You're watching it all happen from their eyes, but they have nothing really to do with the stories. They're kind of part of it, but not really. Like they're not main characters, but they are main characters. And then you see a lot of cuts, like scene transitions and all that. And it heavily inspired George Lucas.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I can go on about Star Wars for like another 6 hours. I'm heavily invested in it. I've read like 37 Star Wars books.
I'm not going to cut you off, I'll be honest, because I have fallen in love with Star Wars. When my little man's was born, he was super young. I was like, you know what? We're going to marathon it every day. We're watching one Star Wars. We're going to watch them in order of release.
Yeah.
And he was like too young to even know what the hell's going on. But I was like, fuck it. We're watching Star Wars together. And then that's my excuse to like let wifey go have like some time off.
Absolutely.
I was all right. Next 3 hours, I'm in this room with him. We're good. Now do that once a day. It's fucking wicked, man. So I got to watch all of them once again. Yeah. And then I watched them in order, whereas one day after the other. So like the story was still fresh and like everything was lining up. What do you think about like the newer Star Wars movies like Rogue One, Solo? Yeah, what do you think of those? What else? Was there another one? Am I going crazy, or is that just the two? Oh, I think there is one more. I just can't think of anything right now. Christ, am I super late for me over here? I'm crashing. My memory is gone. Oh, that's not super late. Sorry, I didn't mean to say like that, but like you know what I mean. It's later on at night. Later, sure. Your brain starts resting and shit. Yeah, man. I don't mind them. I mean, Rogue One was good. I definitely liked it. I think I liked it more than any of the other. Okay, circling back slightly, Han Solo badass, does always there for his homies. He's always there. Right. And then you see the new movies, and he's some old man who gave up. He's like, oh, I guess I'm back to smuggling now. It's like, no, you were leader of this gigantic thing. Now you just gave up. To all of us, dude. You got to be careful. Yeah, but he gave up. The thing is, he gave up on his wife, on his kids, on like everybody. It happens. That's now we're giving this character some depth. Maybe what he thought he was going to receive after all this rebellion and all this, he didn't get, and then he just gave up on it again. Or maybe that was his personality to begin with. I can see him giving up on the rest of the shit, but not family. He didn't seem like that guy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that was a bastardization of that character, which I didn't like. Right. And then same thing with Luke. Even though he was this like bad guy, quote unquote, he still managed to do the right thing. Yeah. When the time came. Yeah. And I'm not saying do the right thing for everybody, but at least for your family. 100%,
That
man.
seemed weird to me. I'm like, anyway, but that's their just direction they took him in. It is what it
Personally, I
is.
don't know how people do it. Like when I see little mans, I'm like, yo, how do people like leave their kids like that? But I guess teach their own. I try not to judge. Whatever. Yeah. For me, it's always been about Obi-Wan Kenobi, man. That's the homie. Fucking dope, dude. I think either you're muted or
Motherfucker. I mute to cough because I've been coughing and shit.
oh, I see.
So every time it just stays on mute again.
Going back to Obi-Wan
Big
Kenobi?
thumbs.
What were you saying?
Kenobi is the best. Can't wait for that new show next month.
That's the other thing. Disney has been just pumping out these shows. Like Mandalorian was fucking wicked.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Watch it.
The Book of Boba Fett.
Watch it.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I always love Boba Fett.
3 episodes are going to be a little bit of a trudge. You're like,
okay,
not much is happening here that's not inferred already in The Mandalorian, but
okay,
but it sets up to something nice.
Boba was fucking dope, man.
I'm not gonna.
I always loved him.
Yeah,
I always loved the armor. Not even knowing anything about the Mandalorian armor.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And then the show just kind of gave it more background. I was like, oh man, that's even
the character is so hyped.
I forget what I got from McDonald's, like what it was, but I remember like a little like Boba
figurine or something. Yeah,
yes, it's just a helmet.
Sure.
And I had that shit for years. I don't know where. I hate when I lose old like fun.
Yeah, me too.
Shit, but again, if you held on to all of it,
yeah,
you would just be bombarded with it, right?
You would.
I found an old bag of my old like action figures. I got Incredible Hulk. I don't know if you're a Marvel or DC kind of guy.
A bit of both.
So I got Darkseid or Darkseid.
Darkseid, sure.
Gambit from X-Men, my favorite X-Men.
Gambit was dope. Yeah.
Gambit's so fucking sick, man.
Yeah.
I know Wolverine's like a fan favorite. Cyclops is a fucking dork.
The thing is with Wolverine, the thing is with characters like Wolverine is everybody likes them. You can't help but like them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. Spider-Man's another one of those. You can't help but like him. You're gonna like him. So
Spider-Man's dope, but I don't put him in my top 5.
But then that's what makes it fun to be like, all right, who else? Like who else? Right. Like Dragon Ball Z. Everybody loves Goku. Yeah, no shit.
He's gotta love Goku.
Yeah. How do you not love Goku? My favorite character is Vegeta.
I was just gonna say Vegeta.
Vegeta's the best. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass. At some point, let's do a top 5 Marvel characters. We don't have to do it right now.
Sure.
But somewhere at some point. Moving forward with Star Wars, though, man, I fucking love it.
It's
can't
great.
Stop.
The shows really, really brought it back, and I'm so glad that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are in charge of that.
He's
I loved Bill Burr in The Mandalorian.
Yes,
that shit was great.
Yeah, it was great. Disney Plus is killing it, bro. They got like the Marvel shows too.
They are killing it.
I watched WandaVision, bro.
I've not seen that. I have not seen that. I was a little burned out on superhero shit after Endgame. I'm like, all right, I got it.
I need a break from that too.
Exactly. So I was like, I'll hold off on a while. But I did end up watching Loki when that came out. I liked it.
A bit of that.
I liked it, but I didn't like it because I'm like, they really brought the character down from what he was, like how badass he was. Now he's just like a bumbling kind of an idiot. And then the show's not about him. And I'm like, oh, that's weird.
But I think that's the whole point, because now we're entering the multiverse.
Yeah.
So we're taking away the uniqueness. It's like you're not that special anymore.
Yeah. But I already know that. I already know I'm not that special. Ladies.
Because now there's 100 versions of you. So you're not as unique as you thought you were. There's you know what I mean? Like they're setting us up for
something bigger.
Phase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
WandaVision, bro, each episode they did it in a different theme. So
I gotta watch that. I've heard nothing but great things about that show. I need to watch it.
So the whole thing is that she grew up watching American television in Slovenia, whatever that country was that she was.
That
right?
made up country, yeah.
So her dad, I think, would always get like DVDs of like American shows.
Yeah.
So she grew up like romanticizing the American dream.
Sure.
Through sitcoms, which I feel like you and I have done.
Oh yeah,
we've talked about this, right? Where our life is modeled after our favorite sitcoms almost.
Yeah.
So each episode, man, they did it so well, where each episode showed a different era, theme, or like style of a show. So like episode 1 was like your Leave It to Beaver or like Bewitched, like black and white 1950s kind of, right? And then like, all right, I'm gonna leave it at that. because I don't want to give away too much, and I don't want to.
I mean, okay. First of all, I don't mind spoilers unless it's something I really, really care about. I don't mind spoilers. But secondly, I will actually watch that show. But still, please talk about it if there's something cool.
It was just dope, man. Like it was so fun to watch each episode change.
Yeah.
So it was like a different show within the show, but the storyline continued, and it you will not be disappointed, man. And I feel the same way about Loki's show. I wasn't as much into it.
Yeah.
But WandaVision was fucking incredible, man. Too wicked. And then she's like supposed to be like a new big piece in like the next phase too, right?
She's supposedly one of like the strongest characters in the comic books. I've never really read those comics.
Yeah,
I was always a fan of like
reality,
I was always a fan of like the 90s shows, the X-Men's and the Spider-Man's and the whatever. So that's where I know my Marvel from, but I was never got into those comic books, but I know of the characters. She's supposed to be like one of the strongest ever, so it's interesting to see what they're gonna do with her. Also, that actress fucking kills it, dude.
I didn't know she was one of the Olsen sisters.
One of the Olsens, right? Yeah.
I did not, and it makes sense now when you realize it. Like, okay, she looks just like him.
Yeah.
She is incredible.
She's great.
And like, man, like she does a great job in the Avengers movies, but she killed it in this. Like,
did she really?
Just the levels that she's able to get to.
Yeah.
A lot of emotion. So she's grieving the loss of Vision. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's my cat sees something. My cat's seeing like a ghost or something. What is it? There's nobody there, I hope. All right. I don't know. Maybe she's high.
So we kind of like lift off I guess what's the word? Where it's after Endgame, right? So this is after Thanos smashed my man, took the stone out of his head, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of picks up from there.
Wait. So that's Infinity War then?
This is after the Infinity War. He doesn't come back after Endgame, does he?
He takes out I thought he took the thing out after Infinity War, didn't he? Or was that Endgame? When he gets all 5 of the thingies and then he snaps it.
That's Infinity War. Infinity War, yeah. So
okay.
But Vision doesn't come back after.
No, he didn't.
Because he was killed, not necessarily
he wasn't snapped away.
Yeah. So we're left with Wanda dealing with that, and I'll just leave it at that, bro. Highly recommend it.
Check it out.
Crazy.
Definitely the thing I would watch that. How do you like Peaky Blinders?
Like streaming, like shows that we're streaming and stuff. I just started in the other room. Love is Blind. I don't know if you've heard of this.
No.
Kind of like a game show, dating show kind of thing. X number of male, X number of females living separately, but they interact with each other without seeing each other, but they do talk to each other.
Yeah.
Eventually you pick who you want to be with.
Sure.
And this is like marriage. So out of these people,
yes.
You never see them, but you speak with them, you build this connection.
Yeah.
If you select someone and they also select you, the man proposes to the woman on the spot.
Jeez.
And then I think like within a few weeks they're married.
Okay.
So I guess it's like almost like a social experiment where you have to build this emotional connection before you really make that physical connection.
That sounds like an arranged marriage on some level.
Right? To us, this is just normal shit. But we never made that emotional connection either.
That's true.
We saw a little photograph and I
would hope there's like emotional connections made nowadays, right? Wasn't that the thing that they're like, hey, you kind of get to know each other, you FaceTime, whatever, hang out a little bbit, and then it's like arranged, but it can be broken off if you guys don't hit it off or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if that works. Like, I feel like there's so much like family pressure and like, what are people gonna say if they hear that it got broken off? Oh, there must be something wrong with you. It's fucked, man. It's all fucked. Public perception or the fear of public perception. Fuck that shit. Coming from the guy who's past all that, so it's easy for me to say that shit.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have to worry about it.
Not all of us lucked out on meeting our soulmates at like 15 or whatever it was, 14.
Yeah, 16. Yeah. I still can't believe it, man. I fucking lucked out huge.
That's pretty damn good.
That's why I feel like I genuinely believe in like divine intervention or like destiny, I guess you could say.
I believe in that. I'm a romantic at heart, actually. I mean, I'm a bit of a hoe, but sure, that's you
got to go through a whole phase, I guess. I'm sure. Genuinely speaking, I don't think I'd be anywhere close to where I am right now.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like mental health, anything.
Sure.
if I didn't meet, like, it would have been over for me. I'm
I
telling
hear
you,
you.
dude. I know me. I
Yeah.
know how I am. I would have like pretended like everything's okay, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden just crashed, and then God knows where I'd be at that point. It is what it
Do
is.
you have any siblings? We've known each other like
I
almost a
did, man.
year. Oh,
Yeah, remember I told you my older sister passed away when I was 12.
oh, that's awful.
Yeah, man, it was tough. And then, but the thing was, like, I suppressed it, so
Mm,
it didn't come out until a few years later,
yeah.
right? And then anyone that's going through any trauma or going through anything difficult, you got to be super careful with what you do with it.
Yeah.
So I carried on as if nothing had happened,
Mm,
carried on and almost like acted the way I thought I was supposed to act
yeah.
in order.
What's
Again, going back
kind
to
of
that
what's
cognitive-
expected of you rather than like, yeah.
exactly. And I didn't want to like cause anyone else any pain, so I would never talk about it because I didn't want to bring it
Sure.
up to anyone. So I just
Yeah.
kept pushing that shit down. And that
Yeah.
might have worked back in the day when you could, like, I guess, I mean, I don't know what they were doing back then, but in our day and age, when there's this much information available to you,
Yeah.
it's just not healthy, man. We
No,
know what
no,
it does
it's
to
not.
us, right?
I mean, just the sheer amount of time people used to have to be able to think,
Right.
like without distractions, has changed drastically. You know what I mean? Like,
You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't think it's a good thing for our health, mental health. Absolutely not. Because
The way it
like,
is right now?
yeah, because before, if somebody's going through some shit, right, like 20, 30 years ago, there's no internet. There's
Right.
no 30 years ago. Christ, yeah, you know what I mean?
No, 100%.
There's no internet. There's no like, you back then, remember, you couldn't even call anybody. You had to like call, like you couldn't text anybody, couldn't call anybody. You had to like leave a message to their home, be like, hey, get them, tell them to, call me back or whatever.
Right.
So
Oh, that's true.
so you go anywhere, you got to walk as a kid, and not just kids, but like adults or whatever too. The point, like, cable, there was no like, there were cable channels, but there weren't that many. There were no streaming. There's none of that shit. So like, we have way more things distracting us
100%.
now than we ever did. I'm sometimes like, I'll like go through the day and I'm like, there was never a point in this day where I wasn't being fed something from somewhere. Either I'm watching something, or even if I'm working, I have like a podcast going on in my ear.
Yep.
Or, there's like no, like I'm running away from my thoughts at all times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like I do that a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like I use external distractions, like you
Yeah.
said, to run away. Not run away, but I guess, yeah.
Just sort of
kinda
avoid
avoid
them.
thoughts.
Yeah, avoid them for a bit. Like, I don't want to deal with this shit right now. And then when it catches up to you, you're like, oh God, this is all awful.
Buddy.
And
it
then
came crashing down. It was wild. But again, I learned from that. So I kind of figured out, okay, that's not a healthy way to cope with things, right?
no,
So you learn,
I mean, like your childhood, your teens and shit. That is like the ideal time to learn too.
for sure.
Because there's dudes who hold on to some things, and then it comes out like in their 40s and shit. And you're like, oh man, that's okay.
And you set this life up for yourself, and now you feel trapped, and then you've got all these people depending on you.
Yeah, and then
So you gotta be
then like
careful with
people
that
who have
too,
like
right?
midlife crises, and they start doing some wild shit, and you're like, what the fuck are you
Right.
doing, man?
Exactly.
You should know better by now. Like,
Right.
not to judge, but also how do you not judge?
That's just it, because you didn't take the time to kind of like really look into like, okay, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this because this is what is expected of me, or this is what I think people want me to do?
Yeah.
So I feel like it gave me that opening at a younger age where I was like, man, life is so short.
Yeah.
Fuck what anybody else thinks. And then it gave me perspective on what's really important. You know what I mean? Which came over time. I'm not saying I had it all figured out at the age of 12, but at least at that point, it kind of broke the shackles, I guess, of like society.
Sure.
Where I kind of watched like everyone being led down into the slaughterhouse.
Mm.
I was like, oh, fuck that shit. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go do this. Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's given me a lot of perspective. I might have taken a more difficult route, and I've chosen a more difficult route in life, but I'm okay with it because at least I'm doing it my way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to get too like, motivational speaker or whatever, but
no, you're not motivating anybody.
fucking love it.
You're bumming people out. Please stop.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying.
No,
honestly,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, you're
no,
absolutely right.
I'm trying to use it as a learning, like a stepping stool or a launch pad.
That's the best thing you can do is like, okay, so that's my point exactly. There's people who never took the time to like learn who they are, to get to know themselves.
Yep.
And then if you don't know that shit, then it gets hard because you're like, wait, who the fuck am I? And then
right.
You know what I mean? And then if you have like dependence and shit, and like, oh wait, do they? Then it's there's just that much harder to.
And then you start subconsciously start passing on that bullshit that you were fed onto them, and now you're just perpetuating the same bullshit, and everyone's caught in this hamster wheel.
Yeah,
fuck that, man. Fuck.
Also, I kind of wished you had said too short there instead of short, so short. Because anytime anybody said too short, I'm like, bitch. But yeah.
I like it a lot.
No matter how serious it is, my eyes lit up for a second. I was like, no, he didn't say it. But next time, I would have interrupted your train of thought to say that. Okay.
No. When you were saying like you take, oh sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, please finish.
No, I was just gonna say I just love teaching, and one thing that I'm just using my life experience to teach, and then I feel like as a stand-up, I can use all this bullshit and then try to make it funny, and then also try to teach you something.
Sure.
Which is a great challenge, and I feel like that's just fucking wicked to me. The thought of that just gets me excited.
That's the best. That's my best. That's my favorite type of comedy. Like
hell yeah,
somebody like Bill Burr, or Louis, or Patrice, or Chappelle, or I'm only like rattling off the greats, but
a very specific vantage point on society.
Yeah,
it's still funny, but I'm making you think like, oh fuck,
exactly.
Man.
Well, they'll say some like wild shit, and you're like, where the fuck are you going with this? But then when it hits, you're like, oh, of course, it was right there, and you couldn't.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be seeing Andrew Schultz. 2 weeks from now. I'm super excited. I'm hearing great things about this tour, and one thing he always talks about is he loves to state a premise that's completely outlandish, totally absurd, but he wants to win you over with his comedy. And then that's so much funnier at the end when you finally get it. And I feel like he might have picked up on that from Patrice, because Patrice
absolutely
definitely does that.
I mean, at that point, when you're at his level, people are coming to see you specifically, so they're going to be hyped, like, oh my god, it's him, ha ha ha, like kind of laugh at everything. Like, you ever seen when they do like those press conferences for like astronauts, or when an astronaut is in space, and they'll make like the silliest joke, the tension is so high, everybody's like, ha, 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 like they'll go crazy because they're like, oh my god, it's a reprieve, a little bit of reprieve, and you're like, because the tensions are so high, everybody's so like on edge, like it's that much funnier, right? So same sort of feeling, like when you go see somebody you genuinely know, you genuinely like, and already from their previous work, you're like, oh, this is gonna be great. So I've seen, again, everybody I just named. Chappelle does that, Louis C.K. does that, Bill Burr does that. Well, they'll start off with like some wild premise, and I think we talked about this before too, but they'll start with like a wild premise that's kind of set up to turn people off from the start, and then they'll kind of make you they'll bring you back to it and make it funny. Sure. Yeah, I
think Bill Burr has one where he's like, I'm not saying I'd beat my wife, but then like he goes into it.
Like you shouldn't hit anybody, but there's a reason to. There's definitely a reason.
There's a lot of good shit out there, my man. All right, how about we close this podcast out with our top 5 Marvel characters? They don't necessarily have to be Avengers. They can just be any Marvel character. It can be a villain. It can be a hero. We can go back and forth. How about that?
All right. In no particular order, though, right?
No particular order.
Magneto.
Yes. Favorite villain?
Definitely in the top 5.
One of my favorite superhero powers. And probably the one person I've always wanted to be my entire life. I'm not even joking.
He's dope as fuck.
Oh man, Magneto's the fucking man.
He is.
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Fucking love Black Panther. Wakanda
How could you not? Yeah. Oof. Dude rules a country, and then he's still like, nah, fuck this, I'm gonna go kill the bad guys. Like, all right, that's
the whole suit is made of like woven vibranium.
Yeah.
So this guy can beat the fuck out of Captain America.
He can. He could probably take most anybody from like, yeah.
In the Marvel Avengers, there was a little, they had to make them like, mid-tier, top tier ish.
Sure. Yeah. They changed around powers.
Animated, this guy was a badass. So sick. All right, number 2 or your second.
Spider-Man.
Okay, top 5. Interesting.
Top 5, yeah, because I love that show as a kid.
Yeah,
and that got me into liking all the Marvel stuff.
Right on.
They're like early 90s show.
Kingpin on that cartoon was wicked
Was
because
the best. Oh man, he was the
the
best.
accent. The
Yeah.
accent was badass.
Yeah.
That intro theme song was wicked.
That
That
song
was a
was
great
great
show.
too.
It was a really good show.
Yeah.
Did you watch the old one, Spider-Man?
I did.
That shit was good too.
With all the memes and shit. Yeah, dude, there was like a Spider-Man in every decade. There was like one in 70s, one in 80s, and then one in 90s, of course.
Oh, I didn't know
But,
that. I think
yeah.
I've seen the 80s, but I don't think I've ever seen the 70s.
It was like Spider-Man and Friends, and then like the Magnificent
Oh.
Spider-Man or something. Yeah, there's a couple of them.
Yep. Spider-Man and Friends.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. My number 2 is gonna have to be Incredible Hulk. Homeboy is a badass. I got the action figure. I got it in 2nd grade, and I still got it. I refuse to let it go. That's gonna be passed on. That's got to be handed down. It's busted. Shit's busted, but
Sure.
I don't give a fuck. And he's like not gonna respect it or like treat it properly. Like, hey, you're not ready for this. He's like, Dad, I'm 20. Fuck off.
He's like, I don't want this. I'm trying to go.
I never wanted it.
Yeah. Professor X.
Ooh, heavy on the X-Men. I like it. Professor X is a solid.
Oh yeah, Magneto. Yeah. I guess that. Yeah, I'm going a little heavy on the X-Men, aren't I? Yeah. But yeah.
Have we ever discussed the whole Malcolm X and Martin Luther King comparison to Magneto?
We have not. That's a good point. Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should definitely expand on that.
We'll talk about X-Men one day. Yeah. I think each episode we should talk about some like major movies.
Yeah.
And kind of dissect them, because this week was Star Wars, which was wicked. Yeah. It was very interesting to take your take on it. I appreciated it. I do like Star Wars a lot. That's awesome. That was your 3rd pick. My number 3 is gonna be Thor, just because I like long hair, long beard, and dude the god.
Being a god helps.
In Punjabi, we call a hammer hattori.
We do, don't we? Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Kind of weird.
Yeah.
And Thursday is Thor's Day. Thor's
Day, yeah. All the days of the week are named after more Norse gods.
All the days?
Not all of them. Monday is Moon. Tuesday is Tiw, I think, from Norse mythology. Wednesday is Wodenstock. So it's named after Woden, or as we know him as Odin. Thursday is Thor's Day. Friday is Freya's day. Saturday is named after Saturn, and then Sunday, the sun. The more you know.
Yeah. Saturday's after Saturn?
Yeah.
What's the significance of Saturn?
Saturn, I think Saturn was, I can't remember the Greek equivalent or the Roman equivalent. I also don't know who was the Roman gods, the Greek gods. Greeks were Zeus and shit, right? So the Romans were like Roman was Jupiter, was the equivalent of Zeus. So I don't know who the Greek equivalent of Saturn is. Maybe, I don't know. That's a good question. Let me answer that by saying I don't know.
Isn't it funny how Marvel has these gods as just characters?
Yeah.
Odin, Thor, they got Zeus in there, Hercules in there.
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, they can do that with those gods, but certain gods, I'm gonna fuck with some of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they got that shit trademarked, and like, how come nobody in Norway is like, hey, motherfucker?
Well, those characters, I mean, they're in the public domain, I guess, so to speak. So if you wanted to, here's the thing: if we wanted to write more stories about Allah, nobody's stopping us. But there's somebody who might get a little offended, so maybe don't do that. But you want to write stories about Thor?
Stopping you.
Yeah, you want to write stories about stop you. You want to write stories about Thor? Have at it. Nobody gives a shit.
Hilarious.
I mean, okay, I say a lot, but same deal with like any of the Indian gods too. There's a lot of people, or Hindu gods rather. Yeah, a lot of people get offended by that.
Yeah,
shit.
You will definitely if it's being deemed
offensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say sacrilege, but
sacrilege, sure,
the word for it.
Yeah,
but yeah, if you're being like insulting about it, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some like TV shows, right, that they base off of
mythology. Right? Sure. Yeah, there's a lot.
Hanuman, I think I've seen. There's a recent, not a sitcom, I guess like a drama.
Sitcom.
I want to say sitcom, right? My whole life is a sitcom. You know this. We talk about this all the time.
The thing is these shows, they used to be good. These like epics based on mythologies, Hindu mythologies, right? They used to be good. Now they've turned into fucking soap operas.
That's what I'm saying. Soap operas and shit.
It's what they are. So it's like somebody's like, I'm here, and then it's like a fucking reaction shot on everybody. You're like,
Right.
Christ, this is a 20-minute episode with about 5 minutes worth of material.
Correct.
The rest is just fucking filler. Like, what is this?
That's the shit that sells, dude. I keep
Yeah.
explaining to my mom, like, Ma, they got you fucking twisted. Don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Don't watch these bullshit dramas.
Don't watch
They're
them.
feeding off of your insecurities, your fears, your worst nightmares.
Yeah.
The last thing you want in your life is exactly what they're going to show you because they know you're going to keep coming more. You know what I mean? Or keep coming back for more.
I gotta stop my mom from like watching a lot of that shit too. She keeps watching these like YouTube videos of these like gotcha moments where like it's the same, like some sob story where this guy is extorting some girl's parents for money before he marries her or some shit. And these guys catch him and then they beat the fuck out of him. I'm like, that's not real. None of that is happening. That's actors. None of those people are actually there. She's like, no, but they do this great job. I'm like, yes, to get views. So I'm like, if somebody wanted to get their video taken on YouTube, they'd be like, hey, this is me. Take this shit down. It's easy as that. And these people are just beating up new dudes every week. Fuck out of here.
They pick on your worst fears.
Yes.
Oh my God, the innocent are being taken advantage of.
Yep.
And the hero comes in. Oh, happy ending. Now I feel good about myself.
Exactly.
Again.
Yeah.
It's there's a chemical reaction in your brain when you get all that. It's fucked up, dude.
It is.
Even like I forget what that show. There used to be one show where it was like true crimes almost.
Oh yeah.
The one would be like based on a real story, and they're picking the worst fucking stories.
The worst stories. Yeah.
I remember sitting there watching this, like, man, how the and like I'm just like looking around the room, like, how do you guys watch this? Like,
there's no semblance of like, oh, this is bullshit. That's bullshit. That's not gonna happen. That's not how that would happen. Like none of that.
Not even that. It's just horrible stuff, man. Like horrible atrocities just happening. They're like, how the fuck are you guys still like? I can't even like. People have like these like random videos they send around, like, oh, guy gets decapitated. I'm like, how the fuck are you guys watching this?
Yeah, I don't watch those. I'm like, that, yeah. There's some part of me that I want to like. There was a bunch of those ISIS videos and like cartel videos and shit, or somebody's like torturing a dog. I'm like, I can't watch that shit. Yeah.
I'll get like 3 seconds in and then I immediately delete it from my phone. I never want to see that shit.
No, me either.
It's not that I don't have the stomach for it. It's just like, why would I volunteer?
Yeah, why would you
do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about that for like the next 6 weeks.
Bro, fuck all that.
Yeah.
Side note, is my audio any better?
It is not, but it's okay.
Damn it. Okay, so I said Black Panther, Incredible Hulk, Thor. I believe you were Magneto, Spider-Man, Professor X.
Professor X, yes. I gotta pick somebody out of it. You know what? Somebody new who I was introduced to through the Marvel movies. Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
That dude's badass. Yes.
Pretty dope.
Yeah. I tried to read his books. I tried to read his comic books, and I'm like, I can't get into this at all because this shit was like so wild and like. I guess you have to know other shit to kind of read it or whatever. So
you gotta understand like metaphysics too, man. Like it's.
Oh, I'm all about the metaphysics.
Actually.
Yeah, I am. I like thinking about that stuff or talking about that.
100%.
Yeah, I'm a fucking dummy at it, so I can't explain any of the.
No, who cares? The fact that you're even willing to learn is cool, man. Like the fact that you even want to like explore that part of your brain, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, try to expand your mind, man. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Like, just try to learn something new every day. Try to learn something new. When the thought hits you, like, do some research on it. Like, even now, like, I'm gonna go and find out a little bit more about how the days our days of the week are named.
Other name? Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's cool to me. Like, okay, I like finding out how things are, why things are the way they are. Like, it's just interesting.
Especially something that you've known your whole life. You've known the days of the week your whole life, but you don't know where they come from necessarily or why they're named that way. Yeah, it's.
I thought I had like the gem. Like, oh, did you know that Thursday is Thursday? And this guy's like, yeah, that's like the 4th day of the week. Do you know about the other ones? I was like, oh shit, no, I didn't. You mean Sunday's Sunday?
Thursday's actually the 5th day of the week.
What, Thursday?
Yeah, the first day of the week. Alone. The first day of the week is Sunday.
Bro, leave me alone.
I'm sorry. I
thought on the 7th day God rested.
Sure.
So you mean to tell me Saturdays are when I should be chilling? Oh, I do chill out on Saturdays because Saturdays are for the boys. I'm going really like small-eyed here. You like how I said small-eyed? You like how I said small-eyed? I was laughing at how my eyes are getting smaller and smaller. I got a little like Indian Robert De Niro thing
You
going
got
on
De
here.
Niro going. That's a pretty good De Niro.
Thanks, man. Doctor Strange. Fucking dope.
God rested on the seventh day, which was Saturday. The Sabbath.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fucking blowing my mind here, bro.
Which is why it's a holy day, or one of those days for like Hasidic Jewish people.
Right.
They don't work that day because they're like, God didn't work this day, so we're also
Right.
not going to. And then not true, but a lot of Christians pray on Saturday for that same reason too.
I guess you'd say not Orthodox, but more traditional, maybe.
Christians, yes. There's certain sects of like Christianity, Catholicism, whatever yeah.
I'm very familiar with Jewish culture. In grade 6, I had a lead role in Fiddler on the Roof.
Hey.
I don't know.
You played the roof?
You can tell, but I was a theater kid.
And I feel like my joke just went unappreciated there.
You played the roof? And then I wanted to think of, I was trying to keep laughing and try to think of a good, like, it was a
response or retort.
Instead of you know what? I held that whole production together or some shit. You know what I mean? Like a nice comment to add to your joke. Couldn't do it. I even tried laughing for an extra 5 seconds there while my internet connection was unstable. Son of a bitch. That's funny.
Try to hold that there.
Hey, man. I brought that production to a whole new level. There you go. Boom. Fuck you. No, yeah, I was Perchkin. I married one of the daughters. We had a dance scene. It was awkward as fuck. I was terrified. She was in grade 8. I was in grade 6. My hands were sweaty, knees weak. Wait, I fucked that up. My arms were heavy, knees weak. Palms were sweaty. My mom never made me spaghetti. I had to buy a Chef Boyardee. Yeah.
I was trying to think of a rhyme. I was trying to think of a rhyme that worked with spaghetti, but like with Indian food. I couldn't think of anything.
Haldi. Easy, bro. Can I have one win today? Can I get one by you?
I'm sorry.
Gatekeeper. Fuck.
How many characters we got left?
I don't know. Oh, okay. So I think it's my 4th pick now, right? Iron Man. Fuck.
Iron Man.
I'm doing a lot of Avengers over here, but Iron Man. Yeah. G. Big time G.
Iron Man is dope.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the movies just made him such a badass and made Robert Downey Jr. such a big star again. And he killed that role. Like, that was his role.
Side note, Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, man.
Right?
That was good.
That's a great movie.
That's a great movie. He can't. You wouldn't be able to make that shit today.
I'm so happy I saw that shit in the theaters. I was crying laughing, bro.
Yeah.
Some movies, it's just so good to watch them in the theaters, man.
He's playing Justin Trudeau the entire time.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh, Al Pacino. Man. That was a great name too for like a rapper.
What was his name again?
Al Pacino. Yeah, because rappers always name themselves after like some gangsters or some shit like that. Right. So that was a good name.
Booty Juice, I think.
Booty Sweat.
Bust
a Nut Bars and Booty Sweat. Yeah, I don't know that movie that well, but I do. I watched it a couple years ago, so I just remember a bunch of shit from it.
So good.
It was good. It's damn good.
Close it out. Your 5th pick, my man.
Ooh, that one's tough. I feel like there's a lot of pressure there.
Mm-hmm.
Who did I love from the new movies? Okay, who do I have so far? Doctor Strange, Professor X, Spider-Man, and Magneto.
You know who I like our 5v5 like basketball team, but it's gonna be like an all-out battle. Yeah, and I would really like to see this 5v5.
You know who I always liked but never really got into a lot was Apocalypse.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's like one of those immortal people. He's been there forever. He had the showdown with the X-Men and he nearly wiped them all out.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
did you like the animated series Apocalypse, or did you like
Yes.
the motion picture Apocalypse?
The animated series Apocalypse. He was dope.
Better.
Yeah. The
Badass.
Jason Isaac version. Was it Jason Isaac? No.
I'm not sure, but
Oscar Isaac. My mistake. Oscar
my man
Isaac
is gonna
version.
be in what's the movie? It's a new show on Disney, Dark Moon or
Moon Knight.
The Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Yeah.
Not familiar with the character, not
Me
familiar with
either.
the story.
Me either.
But,
Not familiar with it
saw
at
the
all.
trailer. Looks pretty fucking dope.
Trailer looks dope, and then the character is fucking fascinating.
I do like that, like whole like the cost. I don't know if it's a costume or the outfit.
Yeah, the outfit's dope, very Egyptian inspired. But I read up on the character. He's
Like a mercenary.
This guy got kind of blessed by this Egyptian god to get these powers,
Okay.
but he also has schizophrenia.
Right.
So he doesn't know if any of this shit's happening at all. It could all just be in his head. And
Wow.
he does all these things, but he has these different characters, different personalities.
Right.
And one of them is a superhero. So it's like, wait, is that real or is that just me going nuts? So it's like a lot of it is apparently around him questioning himself, which I'm like, that's going to be fascinating. And that dude's going to kill it. Oscar Isaac is a great actor.
100%.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
But Ghost Rider is kind of like I guess he's doing someone else's bidding.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the case with Moon Knight, but hey, we'll find out.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, man. No, Disney Plus is
killing it.
There's so much.
Yeah.
So much. There's this show called LOL, Laughing Out Loud. It's like 10 comics locked in a room for 6 hours.
Oh God.
And it's if you laugh, you're out.
Oh, really? That's
last person standing who doesn't laugh, and they win money for their charity or some shit.
I would win that shit so quickly. My poker face is just.
I don't know if I could do. I think I'd be out there in 15 minutes. I'd be out. I'd be done. I'd be trying to make everyone else laugh and make myself laugh.
Yeah, no, yeah, I would too.
And they got like legendary Canadian comedians. So apparently every country has kind of done this show.
Yeah,
I think there's like one in Australia, and then just now they're doing the Canadian one.
Is he a moose?
No, I'm just seeing some like legendary comics that I haven't seen in a long time, so it's just kind of cool to watch. So your number 5 pick, Apocalypse. Yeah, that's a wicked.
I would say. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only thing is, I don't know the character enough, so maybe not. But that's definitely like a character I wanted to get to know more.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of somebody else from like the new Avengers. And not the new Avengers, the MCU or whatever,
Avengers
like the
movies?
new, yeah. Star-Lord, I didn't know shit about the Guardians of the Galaxies. I
had no idea about the Guardians of the Galaxy, but these movies are crazy good.
Those are maybe the best ones. Maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
They're so fun.
I love
the
Space
soundtracks
Avengers.
are amazing.
So yeah, soundtrack. They killed it.
Right? Exciting. It's out.
I didn't know shit about Thor or Captain America, really. I mean, I knew of them. I knew Thor from mythology, but I didn't really know him like that.
I knew more about Captain America. I didn't know anything about Thor until the movies, and those movies are pretty fucking wicked too.
They're
I think
good.
he's got a fourth one coming out.
Yeah, where he passes
Love
the
and
powers on to Natalie Portman's character. And
right, she gets the hammer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, she does. Hey yo. I love you, Nat Poe. You're the best. Did you ever see her rap?
Yeah, on Jimmy.
Yeah, she released a song here or there, but it was good. It was cute. It was like for an SNL thing, I think, but it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was with Jimmy Fallon. Or
I
on
don't
Jimmy
think
Fallon.
so. It might have been also on Jimmy Fallon, but I know she did one for SNL years ago. It was good.
Oh.
I had it in my iPod rotation.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out, man.
Check it out. We did not talk about Kanye, but let's do that next time.
Okay.
Because he's still in the thing.
I am so detached from the news, dude. I don't give a fuck. I don't want any of it. I don't want to know. And I know it's a horrible thing to say out loud. And this is coming from someone who used to pride themselves in being like an educated, in tune person. But
Sure.
mentally, I just checked out, bro.
I hear you.
You know what
I
I mean?
think a lot of
Past,
people
2,
felt
3
like
years,
that.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
yo, fuck.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. That's what a lot of us ended up doing, and then this is why nothing's changing. To close up the Marvel segment, number 5 for me was
Yes.
Doctor Doom.
Oh, Doctor Doom.
Very wicked villain.
One
And
of
I
the
feel
smartest
like-
people ever. Yeah.
Right? And I feel like he's gonna be like a super villain soon.
Oh, that'll
We'll see.
be interesting. There's a Carlos Mencia joke, or maybe not, where he said, Fantastic Four, I never saw Fantastic Three. It was so silly, but I really like that joke. It's
Goofy shit.
it's
love
goofy,
it.
but it's fun. It's one of those jokes that's fun.
Fuck it, we got time, bro. Let's talk about Kanye.
Really quickly, the new trailer for Multiverse of Madness is nuts. Allegedly,
Yes.
it has Professor X in it,
Right.
and allegedly, it has Tom Cruise as Iron Man from a different reality. So
Right.
that shit should be interesting if that's what ends up being true. And I could
Yes.
totally see them just making a bunch of movies with Tom Cruise as Iron Man in like a different universe with other shit. So that
And apparently his like stipulation was that you have to be able to see his face. And that version of Iron Man has like his face visible.
Oh, does he?
Because it's almost like a symbiote type of suit.
Oh, okay.
So I guess in that multiverse or that universe,
Yeah.
that Iron Man designs the suit after
the
symbiote, the way it works. So
sure.
the face is exposed, but it's not really.
Mm.
So if anything does come for it, like the armor comes out.
Gotcha.
That group that Doctor Strange is like kind of being held in court is supposed to be the Illuminati.
The Illuminati, yeah.
Yeah. So and I think Doctor Strange is a part of that in the comic books.
Not to be confused with the Key Illuminati, which Tupac was a founding member of. Look, I got bombs too. All right, it happens.
Good,
it happens.
Nah,
folks.
I'm trying to give you as much energy as I got here.
No, it's totally
I'm
fine.
rock with it.
No, that was an awful joke. Don't laugh at that. That's gonna make me feel bad.
It's a deep cut for those that know. They know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bringing back that same actor. What's his name? From Star Trek. Pinard.
I'm sorry,
Pinard? The actor who played Professor X in the original X-Men movies.
Sir Patty Stew?
Is that his name?
His name is Patrick Stewart. Sir Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. And then
he played
Captain Picard in
yes.
Star Trek.
Jean-Luc Picard. Yeah.
That's it.
Jean-Luc.
Actor.
Star Trek, we could do a whole other thing on Star Trek. Didn't watch any of that shit till I was a complete adult.
Right.
Because I always had that Star Wars thing. I was like, fuck Star Trek, it's whack. And I watched it. I was like, nah, it's pretty good. But
it was really good, man.
Pretty good.
My hat is very crooked here. I'm trying to figure this out here. No, other way. Okay. You still hate to see
here's
it.
one. Talking about like not getting caught up in the hype. Never seen an episode of that show in my life.
Me neither.
I have no interest in it whatsoever. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
That the Real Housewives of whatever.
Wherever. Yeah, don't give a shit. The only reality shows I've ever really watched were the ones where that angry British dude yells at people who are cooking.
Yeah. Hell's
Gordon.
Kitchen.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen. Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, man.
Hell's Kitchen, by the way.
Funny.
The restaurant.
He's funny.
He's fucking hilarious. The restaurant of Hell's Kitchen, by the way, 3 minutes away from here. That way.
Oh, get out of here! I thought it was in Vegas.
The original one. I don't know where it is now, but like the one he used to do, it's like right here, Culver City.
The only reality show I like is Diners, Dive-Ins, and Dives. Diners, Dive-Ins, and whatever.
Yeah.
Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri. Oh yeah, that's good too, dude.
Great show.
Yeah.
Not really a reality show, but you just talked about food.
That's a reality show. That's kind of a reality show.
Thinking about how great that show is.
Yeah.
He just seems like a good dude.
He seemed like a really good dude. And he does a lot of charity work. He does a lot of cool things for like people that he never talks about, which I'm like, mad respects to you, dude.
Oh, buddy, it's the best when you don't want to brag about it.
Yeah, when it comes out and like years down the line when it comes out and some person's like, yeah, okay, that's what I did. I have a lot of I have a lot of charity goals that I'd like to accomplish too that I don't ever want to talk about, but
Fuck
we'll
yeah.
get there. Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm with it. I'm same ways. I just want to listen to some funny ass podcasts. I want to listen to
Yeah.
comedians talking shit, making me laugh. Like the other week on Bad Friends, it was Andrew Santino and Chris DiStefano.
Mm.
When those two are together, I just giggle like I'm in the room with them, and I
Yeah.
fucking love that goofy shit.
It's great.
It's awesome, man.
But that's part. Okay, so that's part of the thing you're talking about, where what we just discussed, like the decapitation videos and shit. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like that. I just want to feel
Right.
happy and funny or whatever. I'd rather just laugh and be something more lighthearted, you know?
100%.
Totally understand that shit. That I
Right.
can respect. I respect the fuck out of that like mindset where you're like, no, I'm not gonna listen to what you say, because that old quote, first they hate you, then they love you, and then whatever, then they try to imitate you or whatever.
For
And
sure.
then they act like they always knew you and loved you and supported you and all that shit. So
100%.
Well-
First, they'll criticize you for doing it, then they'll ask you how you did it.
yeah, exactly.
I love that too, man. That's the
Um,
best. I was having that conversation recently. Like sometimes success isn't about being the best. It's sometimes just having the balls to stick it out
Yeah.
and just keep going. And then eventually you get your break. And it's just a matter of not if, when, right?
Yeah. I mean, you also gotta have some genuine talent though. Or
I mean, yeah,
but you
but
I mean you okay, so you gotta
it's not always the best.
absolutely
You
not.
know what I mean?
You're
Because
right,
the
yeah.
best sometimes are disheartened or
Yeah.
life circumstances or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's like they say there's like a guy who's better than Michael Jordan who's in prison right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mike Tyson for the same thing. And yeah, same sort of deal where like somebody was much bigger, better, or whatever, but they just never got, or they never had the drive.
Right.
The-
Like you said, I think you said earlier, mental fortitude, like
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
That's just hard. I mean, we were talking about mental health here. So yeah, that should can, easily dissuade you. Plus, any industry where you get to be famous, man, there's a lot of motherfuckers trying to take you down for one reason or another, or just
Yeah.
telling you you're not good enough, or trying to make a buck off you. So
Right.
it's hard to know who your real friends are.
Man, crazy. Yeah. We see it now and with like TMZ, bro. Like this whole industry just off of like catching people at their worst,
Yeah.
right? Photographers who are literally just like roaming, climbing fences, trying to just get like
That shit's wild.
you know what I mean? And that's happening like now, right now, like as we speak. Like
Yeah.
that's fucked. But then there are people that get ahead of it. Like they say the Kardashians, you go to call ahead and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be here. Come in. Yeah.
Game the system a little bit, right?
Yeah. John
don't know.
Hamm had a great quote about them years ago. I can't remember what it was. It was something like I want to say it was him. Maybe it's to somebody else, but where he's talking about, like, he said something along the lines of like, hey, you've been putting your entire life for display for everybody. It was one of them saying, hey, don't critique us, don't criticize us for XYZ, whatever the issue was. And he's like, you put your whole life on display. Nobody asked for that. You guys did that. You chose to do that. And now when people are just following along that thread that you've created or, perpetuated, now you're like backing off, like, no, please respect our privacy. He's like, what privacy? You did this. You chose to make money off of this.
This is regarding the Kardashians.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the play too. It's all part of this. It's all part of the game.
Yeah.
Because now what it does is it gives you depth. The character has now, oh my God, they're insecure like us too. Oh my God, they feel bad like too. You know what I mean? It's all.
I would also like to be insecure with $1 billion.
Exactly. It's manipulation, man, at its finest. Because now you get sympathy. Now the people that come out who low-key want to be exactly like them, want to try to make connections with them through the comments. Oh my God, you're so brave.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love you so much. You know what I mean? It's fucked, bro. This is thought out. Somebody in that family or someone around that family has a very deep understanding of human psychology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's working.
Or marketing, at least. I mean, same thing with Trump, where people kept saying like, oh, Trump is an idiot. I'm like, yeah, because idiots stumble on their way to the presidency all the time, right? That's what happens. Just idiots just become presidents. No, he's at least very good at selling himself.
Yeah.
And then the other side is bad at persuading those people, or because they haven't done anything to get them on their side. But I'm like, he's not the bumbling idiot you might think he is, because he is very, very charming to a specific set of people,
Right.
and that should not be discounted. Because here, everybody
100%.
was like, like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, nah, it kind of matters, and it matters a lot.
And he exposed the con.
He exposed the fucking con,
artists,
dude. He really did.
the
He's like, hey, here's
bullshit.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, he pulled the curtain back.
Let me go get my MAGA hat.
Hey,
Turn this into a whole other
man.
thing. Like, oh, okay. Actually, I do have a MAGA hat. I bought it as a joke. I went to Belgium years ago, and at the airport, the LAX, to go to Belgium, all MAGA hats are sold out. So like, people
Get
keep
out of here.
Yeah, all of them. They're like, no, people going back to their country. They're like, yeah, we're buying this as a joke.
That's
I think.
fucking hilarious.
I mean, allegedly as a joke, but I don't know.
MAGA. Look at the
Yeah.
branding.
Yeah,
Iconic.
it was good. Yeah,
I again, because I know it's all bullshit. I can't really hate the guy
no,
because it's all bullshit.
it's all bullshit. So that's okay. Back to the point about it being fabricated, where you're like, everybody, it's all somebody planned it out, right? What sucks is now anything that happens, I don't trust it.
Exactly.
So the whole thing that happened with like Jay-Z and Beyonce, where they're like, oh, he cheated on her, and then she was mad at him, and her sister tried to attack him. They got 3 platinum albums off of that whole like little thing
right.
that became really, really big. So I'm like,
Exactly.
was it real or was it? You know what I mean? So now I started to doubt like everything. I don't know. I don't believe in the Illuminati shit, but
The manipulation.
yeah, I'm like, why not manipulate their fans a little, for like people who really care that much? Because I care about the music. I'm like, yo, put out another album, dude.
Right.
Some people are like, oh, what's happening? Especially since that family's kept themselves so private.
Right.
Like, he wouldn't even say they were married for a couple of years after they were married. He was on like David Letterman or something, and he wouldn't even say that. So I was like, that's a smart move.
Why is that smart?
Just because it makes people more curious.
Mm.
And you're rebelling against the culture, which is like, hey, come on in. Let's look at every aspect of my life. Jay-Z never did a not Pimp My Ride, MTV Cribs or none of that shit. You never saw any of that with him. And then they kept their relationship private as well until eventually she put it out or whatever. But
he maintained that mystique.
Yeah.
The mystery behind the celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if it was a con.
Yeah.
Because then you got, I mean, it was a great,
I mean, it's not even a con. It's just like a marketing ploy, really. Right. But because you're like, oh, is this real or is it one of those? Because some rapper came out and was like, yeah, I never had a relationship with this one chick. It was just a thing that the label wanted me to do because it looked good.
Stallion, I think.
Was it her?
I don't know.
I don't know. Also, her name bothers me every time I hear it. A stallion is a male horse.
Right.
The fuck is that? But, anyway, it should be Megan the Mare, but
you know you're old when a stallion's a male horse.
Stallion's a male horse.
I agree. I'm just saying it's funny.
Yeah,
we're nitpicking that. That's what you want to fucking nitpick, bro. There's a lot of other.
Fair enough.
There's an artist. Hold up. There's an artist named Lil Xan. You want to tell me that's not an industry plant perpetuated by Big Pharma?
I don't think so. I think he might be reaching there. Please, Mr. De Niro, enlighten me.
Come on, there's an artist named Lil Xan, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, we gotta do. Okay, that's
antidepressants are cool drugs.
Antidepressants are
anti-anxiety medication is cool.
It can be helped when possible. I'm gonna write this down. Hold on one second.
Bugs me.
Okay, we gotta do a list of wildest rapper names.
Yeah, we'll add to that list slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Lil Xan is right at the top of my fucking list, bro.
OJ the Juice Man. But yeah, there's some rappers with like weird wild names, and those are like 2 Chainz. His name was Titty Boy.
Right.
For the longest time. And then some marketing executive must have been like, hey, change this shit. Like Nas wanted to name one of his albums the N-word, and I mean the actual N word, and they
Right.
were like, "This is never gonna sell. We can't sell this at Walmart. The fuck are
Yeah,
you
so it's
doing?"
Untitled, right?
Yeah, so it was Untitled, but you know what it
That was
was.
a pretty good album.
That was a good
Can't
album.
remember any tracks right now.
Oh, I just listened to Magic, and holy fuck, that's a good album, dude. So,
Right?
I mean, I didn't expect it to be anything else, but I didn't expect it to be that good either.
He just keeps doing it.
He does.
I think he's hit his stride again.
He has, and he's doing it for the love of music. He's like, oh, here it is.
Right.
Here's me putting out music because I love it. Because, and then there was an argument on Clubhouse, actually, this hip hop room I frequent, where they were like, he's kind of outdoing Jay-Z at the moment because he hasn't put out an album in a while. So
Right.
if he wants to reclaim hold on to his status as like the GOAT, he needs to really come out with something good, like as quickly as possible.
I don't have him as the living GOAT.
Who, Jay-Z?
That's another thing we can debate. It's another debate we can have. Left, right, center is Jay versus Nas.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You'd be happy to hear, though, I did play a solid Jay-Z playlist recently when I was in the gym. Pre-workout was kicked in.
Nope.
In the zone. I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and switch back to Jay. I've been doing enough Nas lately. Let's
Let's listen to some
good shit, man.
some
Great
old
playlist.
shit.
Fuck, the guy's a legend.
Same thing here with the Nas album. That's what I did too. I was just in the
Magic.
Just in the gym, and I was like, oh, here's an album I haven't heard of. I haven't listened to yet because I saved those because I'm like, I want to focus on it to be able to listen to it properly. So it's one of those times I was like, let's do this.
It's just so good. And I'm gonna go back to King's Disease 1.
Yeah.
Because I listened to 2 on repeat for so much that I kind of forgot 1.
Sure.
And because of you, I'm gonna end up listening to the N-Word album at some point, just because that was a great album too.
It was a great album. My favorite
was a track on that with Busta Rhymes, Fried Chicken.
Oh yeah. Always good.
Track.
Busta's always good.
The beat is fire.
Mine is still, what was it? Fuck, I can't remember. The album with where he's holding that dress, his ex-wife's dress on the cover. Life is Good. So that wasn't the one. The other, what other album am I thinking of? It had
a track on there with Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Great track.
Amy Winehouse was in love with Nas.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She had a song called Me and Mr. Jones that was about him. And
he seems like a very charismatic dude, man. Just like cool, calm, collected.
Have you ever seen him in interviews?
Yeah.
He's like stumbles his way through them and shit. He used to, at least. Not anymore. Now he's like, I think because I was like, he's bad at talking.
Really?
I used to think that back when like.
I think he just got that raspy, low mumble voice.
Maybe well, whatever it is, he might have gotten some like training or something to do that, because now he's producing a bunch of shit. He's doing like documentaries, and it's just him at the forefront of it. So,
I mean, I'm gonna talk about Nas the way you talk about Jay. He can do no wrong, so it's hard for me to criticize the guy. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. No, I mean he's great. Don't get me wrong, and yeah.
It's awesome because I'm just happy that this is what I love. I think I say this to you a lot, but I say this to like I have certain friends that always re-spark like an energy in me where I want to re-listen to music.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to you, I love it. It just sparks like another like, oh wait, I can't wait to listen to this. Oh,
yeah, I can't wait to listen to revisit some shit.
It's awesome, man. There's a handful of people that I talk to that every time we talk, it's like, oh wow, or they just put me on something, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's sick, that's great.
It's the best.
So going back, so you're trying to think of an album, and it wasn't the one where he's holding a dress.
No, it was fucking hell.
Hip Hop is Dead.
I think it was Hip Hop is. It might have been Hip Hop is Dead. Is that the one that had Unforgettable on there with the sample? Yeah.
I think so.
Was that if that's the one, then yeah, that's my favorite album by him. I absolutely love that album.
That's my first ever Nas album, man.
Was it really?
First ever full album of his that I like bought, listened to front to back. Because again, this is around the time when I'm actually buying albums.
Sure.
And By at this point, I had already purchased every single Jay-Z album.
Oh yeah,
So
you were talking about how you went through the albums. That's fucking dope, man. Same here. I used to love doing that. I used to
it's
love
so good,
doing
man.
that shit.
But then what happened with Jay was, I think the first Jay album I ever got was the Black album,
Mm.
because that's what was like popular at the time. Whenever I got that, and then I started going backwards,
Oh, okay. From
right
there on out.
from there, yeah, and then from there started watching more. Like I think I watched Beef on
Yeah.
BET,
Oh, Beef.
and
I
they
had that
broke down.
DVD. I had that DVD. I'm sorry, to cut you off. I had that
No,
DVD and I played the fuck out of that. Me and my friends watched that so much.
it's
I
so
think we talked about
interesting.
this too, but we used to love that fucking album because it was that DVD because that documentary because it had so much stuff in there. I'm cutting this part out, but one of my favorite lines ever is by 50 Cent on there. And I thought it was one of the funniest fucking lines as a kid. And even now, I'm like, there's just something so weird about that, weirdly funny about that line and just him saying it and delivering it
He's a
while he's
bully,
so
but it's
angry.
funny, man.
It's so funny. He's the best. He's the fucking best.
Beef DVDs were good because they just showed how much like shit was going on behind the scenes in the
Yeah.
industry, right?
It really opened it up.
So it broke down that whole Jay versus Nas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this Nas guy? And I had heard certain songs. I remember listening to, I heard I Know I Can back in grade 6.
Sure.
What other tracks of his? I mean, New York State of Mind is just like ingrained in my bones now.
Yeah.
Like that's just probably one of my still to this day.
We gotta do favorite Nas songs. Mine, not right now, but we'll do it.
Favorite Nas songs?
Yes, we gotta do one. My all-time favorite Nas song is The Message.
Yes.
Love The Message. And there's so much goddamn history behind that song because there's an interview with Tupac where he's like, oh, he was talking about me in this song. And then years later, Nas was like, no, it's talking about Biggie. Like it was making
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was a whole I'm like, that's kind of crazy, but love that song.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting we both mentioned tracks off of Illmatic.
We did not, because The Message is off of his second album, isn't it?
Stillmatic? Is it really?
No, not Stillmatic, but his second one. Fuck, I'm blanking. Message. I'm blanking on.
No, man, The Message is on Illmatic.
Is it really?
It's gotta be. No,
it's not. It's on.
Oh right, Illmatic is with the kid, his child picture.
Yeah,
and then the okay, great. It was written.
It was written, of course. I blanked on the Nas album. That's crazy, but yeah, that was on. It was written. Which
wow, I'm gonna go right back into another Nas wormhole, bro.
Not a bad one to go down.
Oh man, so I used to have this really old phone. This is like around the time smartphones were available.
Starting out, sure.
No, available, but I was holding true to my shit because I was like, fuck everyone else.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you like to do, where it's like, yo, fuck the norm or fuck the hype. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, fuck all that shit. You guys paid how much for your phones? Nah, I'm gonna get mine for free. I'm gonna get this $0 phone that's like 3 tiers down.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. And it still holds music. So I'm pretty sure there was a time, and I had just gotten my dog at the time. He was probably like maybe 10, 11 months old. And I downloaded every single Nas album into that phone. So every time we go for a walk,
yeah,
I put one album on start to finish. And
just listen to that. Walk. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Good shit. Good memories.
It was a very pivotal moment in my life when I didn't have to carry an iPod and a phone. And it was just like, oh, it's all right here. I can just put it all right here. That's fucking awesome.
And now we're streaming shit. You know,
I'm still not. I got my phone with all my songs on here. Like I said,
saying that. So if I go back and like, so obviously if I stream the file's much more compressed than my CD, right?
Not so much. Not so much. Yeah, because
CDs are fairly compressed too, right?
CDs are compressed too. You want either vinyl or you want FLAC files, which are fully lossless audio something, FLA.
So how would I be able to purchase that? Like, would I have to like?
So if you certain streaming services let you do that. So Tidal lets you play them in regular, or you can have them in FLAC. But those are like okay. So a song in your MP3 is going to be like 6 megabytes, 8 megabytes, right? A FLAC file is going to be 60, maybe 80.
Right.
So it's just a lot more in there. And yeah. And then you
For
also
sure,
need good headphones to be able to hear that.
right. To even hear it.
Yeah.
I hear you.
To hear something like those things. But a lot of people are like, it didn't make a difference. But I feel like it does. Like, I feel like I'm one of those people who can tell the difference between 720 and 1080. Whereas a lot of people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, that's, you can tell little things here and there. You know what I mean? And
Right.
yeah, so it's, I think that for FLAC files, but
The 720 1080 doesn't bother me as much as the no sound bar with the TV or the $20 headphones compared to the $300 headphones.
sure.
Like, I need the music much more than I need the
Exactly.
video.
Yeah.
If I'm watching a movie at home, I need the home audio. I don't really care too like I don't want to have like a crappy ass TV that's terrible.
Yeah.
But so I think
you just remind me I need to put my fucking soundbar here next to my TV.
Bro, okay, so I'm emptying out my basement, which is where me and wifey were before we had our kid.
Yeah.
We're all moved up now, just so it's easier to the whole fam's together.
Wait, are you on the east side of the house?
Say that again.
Are you on the east side of the house?
West side. Why?
Oh, moving on to the east side.
The Jeffersons?
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's Jefferson. Yeah.
See, again, yeah, we know the reference.
We know the reference. I've never seen that show. I have no idea what it's about. I'm guessing it's about them moving on up.
Jefferson, but yeah, I think it's the Jeffersons. They had a dry cleaning business.
That's it.
Again, I've never seen the show. I'm just making all these references.
Yeah.
So anyway, remember the old ass TV I used to have?
Yeah.
Well, we moving on up, baby. Shit. About a 60-inch up here, up in the bedroom. I bought a gaming chair. That's awesome. The Sonos sound bar.
Oh shit! Frank Sinatra and my Sonos.
This room is ridiculous right now.
Fuck, I did it my way.
12 by, I want to say 12 by 13 feet.
Sure.
It's a smaller room.
Yeah.
So sound quality is impeccable. I've been
amazing.
Playing the Super Bowl halftime show, just pounding it in here, fucking loving life, reliving my childhood. It's been a good couple of days.
Mad respects for getting a Sonos bar. People don't know the difference between sound bars. Mine's just a Sony. It's not a Sonos, but those are quality audio.
So I used to sell home electronics. I used to work in an electronics store. So I won a couple of competitions, and then they gifted us a few things.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice ass gift.
Yeah, and I actually won an entire like home Boyz setup, soundbar, sub, wireless rears.
Yeah.
This like $600 ridiculous speaker, and a pair of these smaller Bluetooth like plug-in speakers.
Yeah.
But while I was working there, I was also getting a 50% off Sonos discount.
Ooh.
So what I did was, prior to me winning that Boyz competition, I already bought the soundbar and sub, 50% off.
Nice.
It was basically buy one get one free kind of thing because they're both $900 each. I live on 50 Parliament Hill, Ottawa, Ontario. There's a bunch of trucks parked outside. So then what I did was I sold a bunch of those Boyz pieces off. The price it would cost to buy more Sonos speakers, and then I just decked out the rest of the house in Sonos. So I got a Sonos Play 5, which is definitely the type of speaker you would want to listen to higher quality audio. Because that was what the thing was. Like, I was like, yo, this is such a wicked speaker. And like sometimes when I use it, it sounds so good, but other times I'm like, I can just feel like it's lacking.
Yeah.
And it's the compressed files, right?
That's it. Yeah. If the audio quality is, if it's just a shitty file, then it's not gonna
on such a wicked speaker.
Yeah.
You can get away with like your $10 like little in-ear, your Apple, whatever those earphones are, the ones that come with the phone.
Yeah.
Actually, those aren't too bad, but
those aren't bad.
You can you'll pick up the difference when you're not when you have a peak machine, you're not operating it at its peak, then you'll be able to tell the difference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the first generation soundbar. They discontinued this one. This one's still really good, but that new one, the Arc, is ridiculous, man. Oh my god. That's the dream. I got a new spot that I'm working on, and then once I move in there, I am definitely going to be getting the Arc decked out in the basement.
Getting it out.
Reclaiming the basement. That's my spot. I like it cold and dark, dude.
Same.
I'm a caveman, you know what I mean?
Cold, dark. Cold is good, dark is good.
But I'm no caveman, bro. I'm a fucking lion, hence the Lion's Den. Sorry, I'm doing a little cross branding there, cross promotion. I hope you don't mind.
I do not. I'm gonna cut that out.
Just pixelate my face. For those of you that don't know, I have another podcast and another production company, entertainment company called The
Plug that
Lions
shit.
Den.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. Plug that shit.
Oh, they said fuck that shit. I'm like,
No,
excuse me, sir.
plug that shit.
Yeah, so basically the whole idea and story behind it is I'm not a caveman, I'm a goddamn lion. And I also like, roaming with my peoples, aka the Lion Pride. So I just thought of how can I get a collective of the funniest people I know together in one room? Let's create some funny content. And the Lion's Den was born. Bro, I went on a solid tangent there, and then I realized your face wasn't moving. And I thought you were doing like a frozen face, like I don't give a fuck. But then I
No.
realized my internet connection was lost, so I'm sure I probably stopped. Was I still talking? Could you still hear me and stuff?
You started slurring.
Oh my god. I'm so over this fucking internet connection, bro. Anyway, yeah, the Lions Den podcast. Check it out.
Check it
It's
out.
basically me doing the exact same thing here with Yudhi, but with another brown guy who's just as hairy and just as brown.
Hey, Brown Pride.
I still got to get him over here with you because you two can have a solid hip hop conversation. I would love to just be a fly on the wall because I
Give it
know
up.
your perspective, I know his perspective, but I would like to see what your perspectives do to each other. No
Yeah.
homo. But because sometimes my conversation with you may spark a certain thought in your head, but he
Sure.
may be able to provoke a different thought from you. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It'd be kind of
It's
interesting to see.
when you introduce two friends who are well versed in a certain topic, it's you can't wait to see what they'll agree on, but you really can't wait to see what they'll disagree on
Right.
because you're like, I want to hear that fucking conversation.
Exactly. So I feel like I'm being set up for that type of situation on the other end where he has a friend who's just as much into hip hop as us, and we actually all of us went to a Nas concert together.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it was outdoors, kind of cool. I think it was back when Nas was traveling or touring with Lauryn Hill.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was a great night. It was a great night.
I'll
Yeah,
bet.
awesome. Yo, we got to call it, man. It's 1 a.m. over here.
Oh shit. Yes, man. We went an hour longer than
We always do,
planned.
dude.
We
But
do
that's a good
indeed.
sign, man. That means we're very okay with just talking. We don't plan shit, and it just goes.
We don't. Yeah, we're
It
just like,
flows.
yeah, it really does. We'll
Yeah, man.
touch on the fan favorites, hip hop, and some nerdy shit here and there. But yeah, well, I'm a
I
hip
think
hop
that's a good-
nerd. I'm a
No,
hip
I
hop
think it's-
nerd.
We did comics, we did Star Wars, we did hip hop. What more do you want?
What more
I don't
can
think
I
there's anything
say?
else I'd want to talk about other than cars, sports. That's about it. That's it. Those are my top
I
five.
can't
right
talk to you about sports, but cars I could talk all day too.
there. Oh my god. Okay, no, stop right there. Now we have a topic for next week's. We'll do like top 5 dream whips or some shit.
Ooh,
Top 5 tangible dream whips. I'm sick and tired of people saying like McLaren. Yeah, bitch. All of us want to drive a fucking McLaren. I'm saying, what do you want to park in your driveway tomorrow?
a Bentley, drop top, matte red, but dark red.
Like a cherry?
Yes, but
Like
matte.
cherry, but
No,
flat, eh?
I want it. Yeah, flat. I don't want it to shine. And
Like blood red almost.
yes,
Like
yes,
dry, crusty blood. You know when you like pick your nose too hard and then you don't realize it's bleeding, but
Yep.
then you pick it the next morning and it's like that dark red. It's
I
not brown yet.
I would go to a doctor, but
Fantastic.
all right, it's a good time as any to call it here.
All right, man. 2 dope boys on a podcast. Myself, a deep sing, of course. My man Yudhi's, aka
Hey.
Yudhi the icon. I'm gonna say Yudhi the con. Yudhi the icon. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Always having a great time. That's Spanish
That
for
was-
great time.
That's not it at all. But yes, that was a perfectly executed Irish accent though. That was good, or Scottish. I don't know.
Thanks, man.
We don't know things. We know things, but we don't know things. So
No,